Hello, and welcome to another walking meditation. I hope you have had a lovely week and that you are looking forward to today's walk. You're hopefully already walking by now, but if not, don't worry. When you can begin, let's go. Just remember, there is no right or wrong. So, you should now be walking. And don't forget to check in with yourself. How are your feet feeling through the floor? Are they soft? Are they tight? Are your knees moving a little more freely? Maybe certain muscles feel a little bit tighter from your workouts this week. And that's okay. Just keep moving and keep trying to loosen them up. I'm going to give you a minute to fall into your natural rhythm for this walk. Speed is irrelevant today. All we're looking for is presence. Presence in yourself and how you are feeling, along with presence in your environment and what's outside of you. Maybe it's a little bit colder today. Maybe you just feel alive with the summer sun. Just take a moment to succumb to your surroundings and your walk. Over this course, and with these walking meditations, my aim is to get you to discover things about yourself that you may have never thought about, to try and help you find growth and development beyond your wildest dreams. So with that in mind, today I have a story for you. It's a story based on perspective, and how we can be weighed down by things if we look at them with the wrong perspective. A dear friend of mine, Richard Nichols, introduced me to this story, and I'm going to share it with you now. The story is called The African Violet Lady, a Milton Erickson story. Milton Erickson, a now deceased psychiatrist, once went to the home of a dear friend in Miluwakee. His dear friend had an aunt who was very old and very wealthy. She lived in a huge Victorian home with incredible antiques. But Mr. Erickson's friend was concerned because this aunt was depressed. And so Dr. Erickson went to the home at his friend's request to visit the aunt. The aunt took him on a tour of her entire home. All the blinds were closed. It was dark, gloomy, and depressing. The last place she took him was to a bright and cheery room full of gorgeous African violet plants. It was in stark contrast to the rest of the house. Standing in the beautiful room, Dr. Erickson felt compelled to speak. "I can see what your problem is," he began. "What do you mean?" said the old woman, confused. He looked deep into her eyes, and he simply stated, "You are not really a very good Christian." Well, completely insulted, the depressed woman finally managed to ask, "What do you mean?" "Here, you have this great gift for growing African violets," Dr. Erickson gently explained. "And you keep it all to yourself. If I were you, I would get your church bulletin, and whenever someone had a birthday, or a death, or a wedding, or an anniversary, or whatever, I would take them one of your beautiful African violet plants as a gift. After that advice, Dr. Erickson left and never spoke to the old woman again. As Dr. Erickson told this story to a group of students, he pulled out an old yellow Miluwakee newspaper article. The headline read, "African Violet Queen of Miluwakee dies, mourned by thousands." As usual, a curious student raised his hand and asked, "Why did you have her give out plants instead of treating her depression?" After a short pause, the wise teacher explained, "I decided that it would be easier to grow the African violet part of her life than to weed out the depression." That aunt of Erickson's friend took to heart what he said to her. After he left, she began growing violets throughout her home. More windows were opened, and light filled the previously dark house. As her violets bloomed, she would take them to people all over Miluwakee. She made friends and invited them over to see her violets. All of this led to her developing an incredible and fulfilling life of ministering to others. In this story, we can see that Milton Erickson's perspective on the situation he was given was very different to how the wealthy aunt had seen her issue. When we flip our point of view, we can often see things that had never occurred to us before. We are very easily caught up in our opinions, our own views, and we often are very unaware of how this perspective can actually hinder us rather than help us. If our perspective is one of constant negativity, then the negativity of the self will take over, and it will slowly but surely get harder and harder for us to break free of the message we have sent ourselves of the days, months, or even years. Thoughts can become habits, so we must always be casual towards them and open-minded to seeing the other side of the equation. For it is in this change that growth can occur. For your journey, maybe you're having to relearn the habit of exercise, how it feels, how hard it can be to create, and how different your body is now compared to before. It could be that you are having to scrutinize your relationship with food a little more and having to choose your battle there. In order to help these changes take place, you need to do a couple of things. 1. Educate yourself on the process. What happens and why, and the reasons you are making this change. Once you manage that, you will be able to create a stronger resolution to yourself to stick to what you are doing. And number 2, tell yourself you can. I want you to draw your attention to point number 2 a little more. If there is a struggle in your life right now, I want you to focus on that struggle. Allow the thought of, "I can do it," to slowly be heard in your thoughts. Maybe it sounds distant. Maybe it sounds a little muffled. Maybe you can just about see the words flash up in your mind's eye. As your focus gets hotter, I want you to take the distant "I can" and treat it as a purifying liquid within you. Allow this liquid to calm you. Allow the sense of "I can" to grow stronger, grow louder, grow clearer. I can do this. I want to do this. Allow the calming liquid, the I can liquid, to soften your struggle, to empower your ability. I'm going to allow you for a minute to focus on the power of I can. Just say it back to yourself, without tension, but in peace, and repeat it in your mind. I can. I will. 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 Perspective is a very powerful tool, and it can take you years to change it. The best way to create change is to focus on the work, by creating the act of doing. Action creates change, and change creates growth. Try and remember that this week. Well done on completing this 10-minute walking meditation. You are doing so well, and I love the fact that you are keeping up with the program. Please remember to log into the Fitness Collective and keep us up to date with how you are getting on. Good luck with your workouts this week, and I look forward to joining you on another walk next week. Well done, and see you again soon.